the house. This following story was told by Wanda, a young housewife who had a very creepy experience living in an apartment for 11 years. That was how long Wanda and her family lasted in that apartment. She figured that if they ignored the signs and little incidents, it would eventually go away. It did not. Things started happening when she was 7 months pregnant with her first child. They had just moved in and adjusted to life living in their new place. Wanda's husband, Bob, was working the afternoon shift and would usually come home late at night. As usual, Wanda would spend the evenings watching television before she went to bed. As the last of the credits of her favorite program rolled, she switched off the television and moved to the front of the house where all the light switches were. It was when she reached up to the switch that she felt someone or something blow an icy breath at her ear. She froze. The hairs on her neck stood on edge. Leaving the lights on, she ran to her room and slammed the door shut. Breathing heavily, she locked the door and waited for Bob to come home, all the while trying to hear if there were any odd sounds coming from the living room. Silence. She did not take any chances and remained in the room until she heard the sound of Bob's keys unlocking the front door. 8 months after that incident, another strange thing happened. Wanda awakened one night with a start. Her baby's cries for milk jolted her awake, and she dragged herself into the kitchen to prepare a bottle of milk formula. Once done, she switched off the kitchen light and made her way to the bedroom. Passing by the living room, she saw the curtain move. She stared at it, and for a moment, and saw it stir again.
The window was closed.
She muttered softly to herself.
How could it have possibly moved?
The curtain moved again, and she ran to the bedroom. She was not sticking around to find out. She told Bob about the incidents, and he was equally dumbfounded.
Just ignore it,
he finally advised her.
It does not seem to harm the family,
he continued. Wanda was not particularly pleased, but she could do nothing about the situation. She had reduced to placing a thermos of hot water and milk powder in her room, just to avoid making the trip to the kitchen in the middle of the night. Barely a month later, while she was sitting on the bed trying to put her baby to sleep, She glanced up at the vanity mirror in front of the bed and to her horror saw a headless man floating on top of her. Her screams brought Bob running into the room, confused on who to calm first, his distraught wife or his crying baby. It was chaotic, and he decided to call Wanda's parents for help. Much to her relief, Wanda's parents decided to stay with them for a while. She felt comforted knowing that at least her parents were there on the nights when Bob was working his night shifts. Days turned to months, months to years. Wanda and Bob's family grew. They now have 2 daughters. Strange incidents still happened in the house, but nothing sinister or harm had befallen the family. It still unnerved Wanda though, and she was never more relieved when Bob decided to move out of the unit, and together they started a new life in a new place. They have had enough of strange incidents after 11 years. What do you think? What could be that's been staying with them for 11 years?